Sight for Wight Talking News for Friday the 16th of October 2020.
Alison reading from the Isle of Wight Observer. Shortage of flu vaccine easing. Health bosses on the island have said problems accessing the flu vaccine this year are easing. Following the national push for people to have flu jabs this year in light of COVID-19, some people on the island have struggled to find one. Those eligible for a free vaccine, which is to be extended to more groups later in the season, have received letters from their GPs inviting them to come in to get one, although some need to make an appointment. Simon Bryant, the island's Director of Public Health, pointed out it was really important to get the vaccine to prevent hospitalisation from the flu, which would only add pressure to the NHS. He said, "We are focusing on those most at risk from the consequences, such as care homes and older people. We are asking GPs to plan flu clinics with what stocks they have." Isle of Wight NHS Trust bosses have said that there are enough vaccinations for staff and patients. Speaking at a meeting of the Isle of Wight NHS Trust Board, Chief Executive Maggie Oldham said she was really worried about the flu season. She said, "This situation, unlike any other I have known in my career, really does highlight the importance of having the flu vaccination, particularly here on the island, with our elderly population with many frailties, and protecting them has to be our top priority." Alice Webster, Director of Nursing, said she had heard no concerns about the levels of vaccines, but would look into it. She said, "Nationally, there has been a huge uptake of people who wouldn't ordinarily take up their vaccines, and I know chemists are saying they will no longer book people. It will only be done on a vulnerability basis." Over the weekend, government guidance has been issued to GPs in England to ensure they access more vaccinations as part of the expanded campaign. If vaccines run out, orders can be placed from mid-October with government suppliers. They would be delivered from November to be provided to the at-risk groups.
This is Howard reading an article from the Isle of Wight Radio. An iconic site in Bembridge has got the wind in its sails once again. Bembridge Windmill, which is the last remaining windmill on the island, has been awarded more than £10,000. The funding is part of the government's Cultural Recovery Fund and will be used to complete the installation of replacement external timber sails and stock sections of the windmill known as sweeps. They have been manufactured and are ready to be put in place, but coronavirus had put their installation at risk. Standing for over 300 years, the windmill was given to the National Trust in 1961 and has even featured in a watercolour by J.M.W. Turner. It is an iconic site in the landscape and much loved by the local community, who was central in helping to raise the initial funds. Catherine Wilson, Visitor Operations and Experience Manager for the Isle of Wight National Trust, said, "We're delighted to have received the DCMS grant funding to replace the sweeps on Bembridge Windmill. When lockdown happened earlier in the year, we thought it could be a couple of years before we would have the finances to make this happen. It would be great to see Bembridge Windmill standing proud with its sweeps in place."
Please don't stop the music. Arts and venues hit hard by pandemic. Isle of Wight County Press. Iona. With no obvious ending to the coronavirus restrictions on music and events, the County Press has asked several island performers and venues about the future. Derek Sandy, one of the island's highest profile musicians, has found himself stifled since lockdown started in March. He said, "I have been able to do one gig, an open-air barbecue at Thorness Bay and a small set at Ride Academy for the GCSE results, and that is it. I'm concerned for the months ahead, having not entertained the Isle of Wight and not being able to return to Tobago to plant my crops, graze animals and rent my apartment to keep myself ticking over. I'm also concerned next summer is not going to be any different, with people unable to perform again." The Isle of Wight Festival didn't take place in 2020, following 16 successive summers at Sea Close Park. Organisers were quick to confirm a similar lineup for the 2021 summer spectacle, although the Black Eyed Peas and Chemical Brothers are notable by their absence at the moment. In the absence of festivals, island venues have utilised social media, streaming services and their own websites in order to share live events. Del Seymour, Key Arts Manager, said, "With all our live events being rescheduled or cancelled, we've seen a massive decline in new shows being produced. We've also seen examples of musicians using the current situation to expand online with virtual gigs and live streaming. The local community has come together to support the island arts industry. A prime example of this would be the Isolation Row Virtual Folk Festival, which has grown from a weekend fundraising event to a monthly online gathering. Key Arts received a boost this week, as its joint bid with Ventnor Exchange for Culture Recovery Fund support proved successful." A statement issued by the Exchange said, "With this grant, we hope to see both organisations work more closely together to develop the island's cultural ecosystem and build greater resilience in uncertain times. It includes a direct investment of £30,000 to Ventnor Exchange to protect jobs and allow the reintroduction of a full live programme adapted to the new guidelines which would otherwise be unviable." Ventnor Fringe was postponed in the summer, with organisers hoping the annual event will be able to take place from July the 27th to the 1st of August next year. Strings in Newport has held socially distanced events in recent months, while Robin Hill hosted a Fleetwood Mac double-header on August the 30th. Island musician Paul Armfield said, "To abandon our artists, musicians and performers now could have disastrous consequences for the future. People saying we should retrain is an insult. It assumes we are limited to artistic endeavours. Yet as artists, we are necessarily skilled and experienced in many fields, including accounting, copywriting, marketing and promotion, and event management. Moreover, a developed understanding of the creative process transfers successfully to countless other professions. The creative industries contribute almost £13 million per hour to the UK economy, as well as being our defining area of excellence."
This is an article from the Island Observer, read by Terry. 89-year-old man hands over licence after collision with horses. A man in his 80s has handed over his licence to police after crashing into two horses in Freshwater early last Thursday. Police and paramedics were called to Colwell Road between Totland and Norton Green at around 11:30 that morning. The elderly driver was travelling along the main road when he was involved in a crash with a pedestrian and two horses. Whilst it is known the horses escaped any injury, the condition of the pedestrian is unknown. Paramedics from the Isle of Wight ambulance service checked over the individual near to Hill Farm, however. As a result of the incident, the 89-year-old has surrendered his driving licence.
Hello, this is Steve reading a story from the Isle of Wight radio website, headlined "Islanders warned about Nottingham knockers scammers." Islanders are being warned about scams circulating in recent weeks relating to so-called Nottingham knockers. Trading Standards says groups of men try and sell overpriced, poor quality cleaning products on your doorstep. They will often claim to be ex-prisoners and say they are trying to turn their lives around to guilt trip you into buying their items. Islanders are being warned the men may also be taking the opportunity to take a look at your property for future scams. A spokesperson for Trading Standards said, "The best advice we can give is, if you don't know the person at your door, don't open it or use a chain, and if they become intimidating and you are frightened, close the door and call the police on 101. Pet scams have also reportedly increased during the pandemic, and islanders are being urged to always pause and think before you engage with purchasing anything online, particularly animals. Door stickers emblazoned with "No Cold Calling" can be obtained online if you send an email to trading.standards@iow.gov.uk.
This is Chris reading an article from the Island Echo. Going, going, gone. St Mary's roundabout disappears overnight. Motorists are having to get used to a major new junction on the Isle of Wight from last Monday, with St Mary's roundabout now removed and replaced with a traffic light junction. Work at St Mary's Junction has now entered the final phases, with the project set to be completed by mid-December. Over the weekend, a complicated temporary traffic light arrangement has been installed at the new junction, revealing for the first time how traffic will flow in the area moving forward. Attention now turns to constructing the new bus lane at the top of Honey Hill and installing the much sought-after signal-controlled pedestrian crossing. With the new junction in place, motorists coming from Cowes wanting to travel west to Yarmouth are now able to shorten their journeys by turning right at the new traffic signals at the junction with Forest Road. Honey Hill has now been closed to all through traffic, except buses, to undertake the construction work on the new bus lane and surrounding area. However, resident access will remain throughout, but from the southern end of the road only, at its junction with Foxes Road and Honeycross Way. Access to Whitesmith Road will be via Albany Road during this time. The final phase of the work to lay out Parkhurst Road as a cul-de-sac with no through access will be completed between the 23rd of November and the 18th of December.
This is Howard reading an article from Isle of Wight Radio concerning St Mary's surgery backlogs. 65% of patients offered privately provided operations on the mainland have turned them down, the Isle of Wight NHS Trust has reported. With a backlog of over a year for some orthopaedic surgery, private mainland surgery was seen as a way to clear the flow, but many islanders are saying no to going across the water. Joe Smythe, Trust Chief Operating Officer, said the refusals were something that needed to be addressed. He said, "While we have the significant backlogs and all of the capacity we could use on the mainland to treat patients, it's going to continue to cause congestion and delay treatment for those patients who are unable to access care on the mainland." More than 400 patients were asked whether they would like private treatment, and while some have taken up the offer, the majority have rejected. Size restrictions of St Mary's operating theatres mean restoring its services to full capacity was going to be quite difficult, as suites could not be divided into emergency and elective theatres. Theatre capacity for inpatient procedures is up to 66%, with day cases at 77%. And while other measures have been implemented, including operations later in the day and on Saturdays, the private sector was one of the main hopes to clear the backlog. As of August this year, 454 people on the island were going to have to wait over 52 weeks for operations, which is causing great concern for the Trust. People facing a 52-week wait are mainly patients needing hip or knee replacements, with most of those unable to go to the independent sector due to other conditions and mobility issues, meaning they would not be accepted for private treatment. Mr. Smythe said that in particular was going to be a difficult nut to crack. Other services are being restarted within the Trust after their suspension and reduction due to COVID-19, following the approval of a financial package at September's Trust Board meeting. In endoscopy services, Saturday lists have been introduced and capacity stands at 118% compared to last year, which means it's able to meet current demand as well as starting to clear the backlog. Strict infection prevention and control measures are still in place at the hospital to stop the spread of coronavirus as cases are starting to rise on the island.
Cricketers Jason Roy and Sam Billings share Isle of Wight break. Isle of Wight County Press. Two of England's top cricketers have spent their downtime on the Isle of Wight and then posted the pictures on Instagram. World Cup winner Jason Roy, 30, and England teammate Sam Billings, 29, visited favourite tourist hotspots, including the hut at Colwell Bay. They also had a go on the go-karts at Tapnell Farm Park and even tried the bouncing pillow. In his post, Kent County cricketer Sam said he had a beautiful few days away, with the island never disappointing. We hope they'll be back soon, and in the meantime, who's your best Isle of Wight celebrity spot?
This is Chris reading an article from the Isle of Wight County Press. Council pledges fresh look at dogs on Isle of Wight beaches in the summer. The Isle of Wight Council will look at possible easing of restrictions for dogs on beaches before next summer. With the Public Space Protection Orders, PSPOs, approved by the Council's Cabinet last week, replacing the dog and alcohol control orders, which are no longer enforceable, dogs are not allowed on certain beaches on the Isle of Wight between May the 1st and September 30th to avoid the sometimes crowded areas. During the consultation on the PSPOs, Councillor Gary Peace, Cabinet Member for Community Safety, said a lot of people had asked whether the restrictions in the summer could be eased. He said, "I am sympathetic to this, and I know other places have opened beaches to dogs throughout the year, so I'm quite relaxed about also looking at possibly loosening on the restrictions." Other councillors were also among the list of people questioning the stricter restrictions, with Councillor Debbie Andre earlier in the week voting against approving the new orders at the Corporate Scrutiny Committee. She asked whether there was any way of looking at times when beaches were not so busy during the summer period to allow dogs on them. Councillor Peace said, "I want to make a commitment here and now that we seek views from the town and parish councils, for example, whether we can do something differently, allowing dogs on beaches for an extended period of time throughout the year." He suggested a consultation period with the interested parties could start now to be in a fit and proper place come summertime. New restrictions coming in with the PSPOs include dogs on leads, in cemeteries and on certain rights of way, with no access for dogs in fenced play areas. Alcohol orders have also now been approved for areas of Shanklin and extended areas of Ryde, which means alcohol cannot be consumed in public in those areas if you are asked not to by a police officer if there has been any antisocial behaviour.
This is an article from On the Wight, read by Terry. Whitwell Church rescued from at-risk register thanks to community efforts and National Lottery Heritage Fund grant. Special mention was made of the contribution of local resident Rose Ashton, the driving force behind the successful fundraising and repair work at Knighton Church nearby, who sadly passed away before repairs were completed. Historic England last Thursday revealed that Whitwell Church on the Isle of Wight is one of 181 sites across the country that have been removed from the Heritage at Risk Register. Whitwell Parish Church is unusual as it is formed from two separate medieval chapels built side by side and largely rebuilt in the 15th and 16th centuries. The Grade II listed building was at risk mainly due to stone decay and issues with water penetration, which have now been addressed thanks to a National Lottery Heritage Fund grant. Historic England would like to acknowledge the contribution of local resident Rose Ashton, the driving force behind the successful fundraising and repair work at Knighton Church nearby, who also lent her knowledge and experience to the repair works at Whitwell, achieving a lot before passing away in January 2019. Sadly, she did not get to see the completed repairs, which were finished earlier this year. The register provides an annual snapshot of the critical health of England's most valued historic places and those most at risk of being lost. Over the last year, 20 historic buildings and sites in the southeast have been saved thanks to the determination of local communities, charities, owners, local councils and Historic England, who together want to see historic places restored and brought back to life. Examples include a church with Saxon origins where children's author Lewis Carroll preached, a decorative model dairy which has been transformed into a holiday let, and a military fort which tells an important part of Medway's history. Emily G., Regional Director for Historic England in London and the South East, said, "It is the varied tapestry of our historic places that helps us define who we are. In testing times, heritage can give us a sense of continuity and bring us solace. We also know that investing in our historic places can help boost our economic recovery. Across the southeast, the places rescued from the register this year show us that good progress is being made, but there is still a long way to go and many more historic buildings and places which need love, funding, strong partnership, working and community support to give them a brighter future. 18 sites in the southeast have been added to the register because of concerns about their condition. Over the past year, Historic England has offered £1.9 million in grants to help some of London and the South East's best loved and most important historic sites. This year has been challenging, but looking after and investing in the historic places that help to define our collective identity is key to the country's economic recovery. The buildings and places rescued from the Heritage at Risk Register can help level up economic opportunity, support skilled local construction jobs, build resilience in private and public organisations, and boost tourism. Our historic places have also provided an anchor for local communities during these uncertain times. Heritage has a proven positive impact on people's quality of life, and 80% of residents believe local heritage makes their area a better place to live. It can also help support community resilience, instill pride, and build confidence that communities can build back better. The Heritage at Risk Register 2020 reveals that in the South East, 154 buildings or structures, Grade 1 and 2 listed buildings and structural scheduled monuments across England, plus Grade 2 listed buildings in London, 75 places of worship, 147 archaeology entries, non-structural scheduled monuments, 25 parks and gardens, 3 protected wreck sites, and 66 conservation areas are at risk of neglect, decay, or inappropriate change. In total, there are 470 entries across the South East in the 2020 Heritage at Risk Register. Due to the restrictions of COVID-19, we have only been able to assess sites and collect data where it has been safe to do so. This has given us a helpful temperature check of the condition of our historic environment in the last 12 months, but it has not been possible to carry out analysis of trends as we have in previous years.
Hello, this is Steve reading a reader's letter from the Island Echo, which is headlined, "Every day is a battle and I risk losing my job. An Islander speaks of cross-Solent woes." This is a letter to the editor dated 13th of October 2020. I am writing to you to try and raise the profile of an issue people on the Isle of Wight are facing on a daily basis. People are being prevented from getting to school and work due to social distancing restrictions being imposed on hover and fast-cat travel. This is preventing people from getting to work and adding unacceptable stress during an already stressful time. I don't understand how people can get on a full flight for a holiday to Spain, yet islanders commuting have to miss a seat out between each person, making all crossings hugely under capacity. Getting employment, either on the island or mainland, is already a challenge. Employers can be reluctant to employ people from the island due to the perception that cancelled crossings will make you frequently late and an unreliable employee. Hover travel are doing nothing to allay these fears or uphold the reputation of the island as a place open for business. Every day is turning into a battle to get to work, and I risk losing my job due to the issue. I am a teacher, and I have met other key workers, including doctors and nurses, experiencing the same issue. Please help.
Hello, this is Lisa, CEO of Sight for Wight. This week has seen the official launch of our story writing competition. We have taken the time to write individually to every school on the Isle of Wight, encouraging children to enter the competition this year. The theme is The Wish. This gives people a chance to have their work published and read out by one of our 4 celebrities. We have Ray Allen, Joe Brand, Melvin Hayes, and the island's jazz singer Adana Minghella. The story writing competition does raise vital funds for the charity every year, and it has grown from strength to strength since it was originally brought about by the British crime writing couple R.C. Bridgestock. We will not be able to hold our usual physical celebration of the awards ceremony this year due to the COVID restrictions, but we will be hosting a virtual ceremony, and we are asking local island artists and singers to perform for us. This week we have also advertised the role for our new Befriending Volunteers manager in the local press. This new project has come about by the award of a lottery grant for the charity in order to set up this new service. We went out to members and we asked people what they would most value from us, and a befriending telephone service with the ability to use digital technology resoundingly came across as what members were looking for. So we applied for a grant to fund this, and we have been successful. Once the position has been filled, the scheme will be launched as quickly as we can. Any volunteers or members interested in joining the scheme, please do not hesitate to call the office 522205 at any time, and we will be able to register you, and as soon as the scheme is up and running, we will be back in touch. Thank you very much for listening to our Talking News. Have a good weekend, Lisa.
Sight for Wight's short story writing competition is back, and this year's theme is The Wish. Celebrity readers are Ray Allen, Joe Brand, Melvin Hayes, and Adana Minghella. Entry forms are available from Dress for Less, 114 St James's Street, Newport, Millbrook House, 137 Carisbrooke Road, Newport, downloadable at sightforwight.org.uk, or email inquiries at iwsb.org.uk. Entry fee is £3 for under 18s and £6 for 18 plus. Closing date for entries is Friday the 13th of November at 4 p.m. Visit sightforwight.org.uk for more information, or telephone Chris on 522205.
The Vectors Radio podcasts are sponsored by Break the Cycle CIC, rebuilding self-esteem in people who have experienced domestic abuse. For more, email hello@breakthecycle.org.uk.
So who have you got on the phone over there, Maggie?
I've got Chris Kane on the phone from Sight for Wight. Good afternoon,
Good
Chris.
afternoon, Chris.
Good afternoon. How are we?
Oh, we're both well, thank you. And you and yours over there?
Yes, we're all good. I've also got with me Lisa Holyhead, who's our new CEO, who I would love to introduce to you.
Hello, Lisa.
Hello, Maggie. Hello, Kelvin. Lisa speaking here.
Nice to hear you, Lisa. I've heard you on the Talking Newspaper a couple of times,
Mm-hmm.
but I've never actually spoken to you on the phone, I don't think,
No.
until now. So, Chris, you've got an announcement to make, or we've already made it, but we're going to get some more detail from you, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say it's been a long time since we've actually chatted, isn't it, as well?
It is.
On Vectis.
Yes.
And here we are again. Here I am again, about to promote the short story writing competition.
Oh, wow. Is it that time of year again?
It is that time of year again. So, I'm delighted, and thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to give it a bit of a plug.
It's a pleasure.
What would you like to know?
Well, we've got some different readers this year, so let's start with that, because that's the big hook, isn't it?
We do. We've actually got a chap called Ray Allen. Now, not as in Ray Allen and Lord Charles, but Ray Allen actually created the Some Others Do Heaven.
He did, yes.
So, yeah. So we are delighted to have him on board, and he was really pleased to want to take part.
Yeah.
He's a lovely man. We've met him, and he's a really nice man.
Oh, have you?
And he's
yeah.
very, very funny when he talks. So I think you'll make an excellent job of the reading.
Excellent. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Of course, we've got Edana Minghella. Now, we've been doing the competition for 5 years, and each year Edana has joined us, and she's done her bit. She's been amazing.
She's a good girl, isn't she?
She is. Melvin Hayes is back.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Melvin's delighted to be part. And we've got, drum roll, we've got Joe Brand back.
Oh, good.
Great.
Well done, you.
Yeah, so
that's
so
four.
I'm really pleased.
4 good celebrities you got there, and what are they going to be reading for us?
Well, you see, that will depend on the story. We've got our usual 3 categories. We've got the 18 plus,
Yep.
the 12 to 17s,
Yep.
and the under 12s.
Right.
We've also got our highly commended category as well. So essentially, we've got four categories. It was 3, but because of the quality of the stories has been so excellent,
Yes.
sometimes they think, oh, actually, that story should have been in as well.
Yeah.
So we decided that we would add the highly commended, which could be a child, it could be an adult story. It all depends on the
right.
mystery judge's decisions. So,
Yes. And have you got your mystery judges lined up?
yes, we have our 3 mystery judges,
Good.
all keen to take part. We've got 1 new mystery judge this year and 2 previous mystery judges that have agreed to help us out again. So, but obviously, I can't tell you who they are.
Of course not.
No. Now, just to make it clear, the stories, if you're going by the same procedures you've done, they're submitted to you, and we'll go into what you have to do in a minute, but they're submitted to you, they're anonymised, so that none of the judges know who these people are, they just know the age ranges, don't they?
That's correct, yes, yeah. The slight difference this year is normally we would say you can return your entries to Waterstones. Unfortunately, primarily due to the sort of government guidelines and COVID, we aren't able to do that with Waterstones this year.
No.
However, we can say that entries can be returned to our Dress for Less shop in Newport, opposite Wetherspoons,
Right.
or they can be posted here at Millbrook House at Sight for Wight,
Yeah.
or you can email them, so that there are other options available.
Okay. Brilliant.
Well, that's good news.
And is there a theme for the stories this year?
Yes, there is a theme. This year we thought, because of the year and the craziness of it all this year, rather than it be a Christmas-themed theme, we're just saying the wish.
Ah.
So
right,
we
yes.
just want people's imaginations to run wild with that theme.
Yes. So we wish you lots of success.
Yeah, and I'm going to pass over to Lisa now, because the wish ties us into something else that Lisa would like to elaborate on. So Lisa, over to you.
Certainly. This year, we're really excited that the charity is now 125 years old.
Wow.
The old-
Nearly as old as
Yeah.
Chris.
It's nearly as old as Chris. Not quite. We believe, and we've had nothing to the contrary, that we are the oldest charity on the Isle of Wight.
Oh, well done you.
So this year we wanted, like a lot of organisations, we very much look at the needs of our members, and we say, what do they need to help them on a daily basis? What do they need to help them long term?
Right.
So we decided that with the 125-year anniversary, what we would do is look at their wishes rather than their needs.
Oh.
So this also led to why we chose the wish as the theme for the story writing competition.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
It does. What we're doing is we're going to be going out to all of our members later this month, and we're going to say to them, what is your one wish that you aren't able to do because of your sight loss?
Ah.
So, for example, we're not looking for people to wish that they could go out on a date with Chris.
Oh.
We,
That's a shame.
we are
Isn't it?
looking.
You'd have millions of people asking for that one.
Oh,
Well, I'm not sure whether
you,
sight
Maggie.
loss would be a benefit at that point. But moving on swiftly,
Yes.
so for example, we have started to go out to people, and the one that's come forward straight away is a young lady, I'm going to call her, who wishes that she could drive a car just once.
Yes.
So this is what we're going to try and organise for her. Obviously, it has to be a fairly empty place, but we're going out and we're going to go and find someone who is able to give this lady a driving experience for the first time in her life.
Wow, that's a great idea.
So very much we are looking forward to celebrating 125 years and celebrating it with our members.
Yes.
Hand in hand.
Fabulous. That's
Okay,
great, isn't
okay.
it?
That's a brilliant idea, and it's 125 years. That's a long time, isn't
It
it?
certainly is.
For, no offence, a relatively small charity to still be going strong.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are also, during lockdown, unfortunately the date's slightly passed, but in lockdown we've also celebrated 45 years of our weekly talking news and 50 years of our audio library.
Wow. You have achieved a lot, haven't you, this year?
We have. Altogether, I think that makes 215, but I did the maths very quickly there.
Yeah, well, very, very good. Very good indeed.
That's brilliant, isn't it? So getting back to the story competition, where can people get their application forms from?
Yes, they can pick them up from Dress for Less,
Right.
our agency in Newport.
Yes.
Again, as I mentioned, it is opposite Wetherspoons.
Yep.
You can go to our website and download an entry form,
Right.
or you can email us here at Sight for Wight on inquiries@iwsb.org.uk.
So if I was to email you and say, please can I have an application form, would you post it
Yep.
to me, or would you email it to me, or do I have a choice?
I would preferably email it to you.
Okay.
But it's quicker and cheaper, obviously.
Yep.
So yeah, but also you can give us a call on 50005, and we can get a form to you.
Magic.
A couple of other things just to mention: the entry fee this year, it's £6 for adults and £3 for under 18s.
It's not so bad, is it?
And also we've opened, because we're unable to have an actual award ceremony, so we're opening the competition to whoever, wherever.
Oh,
okay.
that's a good idea. And is there a limit to the words or number of words?
Yeah, yes, we've got for the adults, it's 1,500 to 2,000 words.
Right.
And for under 18s, it's up to 750 words.
Right.
Okay.
Does that include the under 12s?
That's under 18s and under 12s, all up to 750 words.
And who do you think might be your youngest entry this year? Because you had one year. The young gentleman was 4, wasn't he?
We did. He was 4 years of age. Yes. He is our youngest entrant. I was trying to remember his name, and it's gone out of my head now.
Yeah.
But yeah, great. He wrote a terrific little story, I think, that Katie Manning recorded.
Yes.
She did, yes.
If you remember.
Yes,
and fantastic. And the imagination of the under 12s particularly was just superb. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Okay, so can you just go through the details again of how people will enter so that we can get that firmly in their memories?
But whilst I remember, I mentioned that we won't be having an actual award ceremony, but what we will be having is a virtual award ceremony.
Okay.
On the day, on the 7th of December. So, but more on that as we get closer to the date. So basically, if anyone would like to take part in the competition, they can either go to our website, download the application form, entry form rather. They can give us a call here. Yes, I'll give you our website address, which is always helpful.
It
and
is,
that's
yep.
siteforwhite.org.uk.
Yep.
Yeah, so they can phone us on 52205.
Yep.
They can go to Dress for Less in Newport, opposite Wetherspoons, pick up an entry form.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it, really. And or you email inquiries at iwsb.org.uk.
Inquiries at iwsb.org.uk, okay?
Yes.
Several ways of entering. And the closing date once again, Chris?
Yeah, the closing date is Friday, strange enough, Friday the 13th of November.
Oh, spooky.
Okay.
At 4 p.m. Because Dress for Less, they shut at 4 o'clock. So 4 o'clock would be the deadline. Yeah.
Okay, magic.
Well, thank you very much. We're looking forward to hearing those stories being read by your celebrities. They'll make a good job of it, I'm sure.
I'm sure they will, yes.
Yes.
And as you said, the entries can come from anywhere in the country?
Anywhere in the world, if they really want to. Well, actually, we did have, was it last year, year before, we did have a chap from Ireland and also a guy from California that took part. So it's great that we're getting out there.
You certainly
It is indeed. Well, we'll make sure we circulate that information regularly over the next few weeks for you, and I hope you get loads of entries.
Yes, thank you very much.
And if I can just add a huge thank you to Chris, who somehow manages to get these celebrities to come back every year. And a huge thank you to Vectis Radio, without whom we wouldn't have been able to be airing our talking news over this COVID pandemic. So thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. It's a
Absolute pleasure. No problem at all. I look forward to getting it of a Friday evening and getting it sorted out. It's actually very straightforward to do because Chris makes such a good job of it.
He does.
So, thank you very much for that, Chris and Lisa. It's nice to hear you on the phone, and I'm glad that everything's going so well over there and getting back to some kind of normality. And I know that you can still offer the services that you can to your clients and members without any problem at all currently.
And don't forget, if you've got anything else you need to tell the world about, you can always come back again. And
thank you very much.
Tell us all.
Thank you.
Okay.
A pleasure.
Well, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Lisa. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Your support matters. We operate thanks to the support of local businesses. If you would like to advertise on Vectis Radio, FM 104.6, contact our team today. Marketing at vectisradio.fm.
This is Brian reading the scaffolding news for week commencing 19th of October 2020. Newport area, the Masonic Lodge, Lugley Street, 10A Lugley Street, 21 to 22 High Street, Halifax High Street. Ventnor area, 56 South Street, 32 South Street, Southview Grove Road, 95 High Street. Shanklin, Corinthian Court North Road, 95 to 97 High Street, 9 Langard Road. Sandown area, 20 High Street, Wight City Culver Parade, 42A Fitzroy Street, 2 Pier Street, 1 New Road Brading. Topland area, Western View the Broadway. Ryde area, 38 High Street, 23 St John's Road, 168A High Street. Yarmouth area, Pharmacy Key Road. Cowes area, NatWest Bank High Street, Rope Walk, Langley Road. The skip news for week commencing October the 19th, 2020. Cowes area, 72 High Street, Cowes. Plot, Shaw Road, Gurnard. 12 Stanley Road, Cowes. Ventnor area, Waterside Cafe, 3 Esplanade. Yarmouth area, Loveshaw House, High Street. Bembridge area, 42 Foreland Road. Parking Bay opposite 99 Downsview Road, St Helens. Newport area, Lugley House, Lugley Street. Ryde area, 35 Dover Street, 51 Alfred Street, Birdsall's 2 High Street, 9 Millward Road. East Cowes area, 63 Grange Road.
Sight for Wight would like to thank you for listening to this week's edition of the Talking News. We would also like to thank our volunteers for reading, and a particular thank you to the Isle of Wight County Press, Isle of Wight Observer, On the Wight, Island Echo and Isle of Wight Radio. A special thank you must go to Vectis Radio, who has helped us get vital information to our members. Goodbye for now.